The former head of Project Veritas, James O'Keefe, had a pretty bad habit of spending money that was not his on some very expensive things. Shocker. Well, it turns out, right winger was a grifter and a scam artist, and a con artist. No way. Oh my God, this is my shock face.
Oh no!
Now, this is according to the results of a financial audit of the right-wing nonprofit organization. Now, the Washington Post, which obtained a copy of this audit, reported that O'Keefe's big-ticket spending of donors' money had to be a key factor that led to his ouster as leader earlier this year. Reported on that. So, that said, it was the money, of course, the mismanagement of the money that led to that, but not the other things that we've talked about. And the other allegations against O'Keefe came from former employees. And so some of the stuff, that they alleged he'd done is, again, treated poorly, treated the employees very, very poorly, had pornographic images up on his computer. There was constant drinking and partying. And yes, at one point, they talked about going, and no, not just talked about it, they actually did it, going number 2 on the deck of a ship that they were partying on.
They call them dumps, big, massive dumps.
Literal poop deck, okay? But it wasn't any of those allegations. Oh, also stealing a sandwich from a heavily pregnant woman. Again, those are not the allegations that got O'Keefe fired, though. Not the mistreatment of his employees. Oh, no, hell no. No, of course it was wasting donor money. Because of course it was. That was a straw. Okay. Now, that said, the audit found that many of the pricey travel arrangements demanded by O'Keefe were actually ways for him to get donors to pay for visits to his girlfriend, Alexandra Rose, who was the star of the Netflix real estate-focused reality show, Selling the OC. Okay. So some of those trips, by the way, were like $12,000 helicopter rides. Oh, now O'Keefe allegedly pressed staffers to set up donor meetings in California so he could justify visits to Rose as work trips because he's too cheap to pay for his own, leading him to waste time in meetings with minor donors, reports the Post. In another incident, O'Keefe allegedly demanded employees buy her what Project Veritas executives described to auditors as many expensive bottles of tequila. Well, I mean, you know what they say about tequila and what it does to a person's clothes. But look, that's in addition to his other alleged spending that was personal. For example, creating this cringy music video.
I just can't believe that my face is on TV. Oligarchy, am I left to right? M-O-G-O-P. Oligarchy.
Oh, that's bad. Oh, that's bad. I mean, it's actually so bad, it's kind of good. A little catchy. Oligarchy. Okay. By the way, according to a letter to the corporate board of Project Veritas, signed by 16 employees, it said, quote, all the theater stuff and how that is handled makes me very uneasy. So I hear you. That also made me kind of uneasy. Quote, I understand it is rationalized as raising awareness of our brand, but the cost of that, both in a financial sense as well as personnel and resources, becomes priority over why donors actually give us money. Look, it's pretty clear that James O'Keefe is a theater kid who didn't make it in Hollywood. And understandably so, it's pretty tough to break in, okay? In fact, you see that a lot. It seems like there's almost like a Hollywood to right-wing grifter pipeline that happens. And look, it comes from people who failed, people who didn't make it. For example, Ben Shapiro, failed screenwriter, couldn't hack it. Michael Knowles, failed actor, who did, yes, a movie where he was openly bisexual. Steve Bannon, He wrote, directed, and produced 19 movies. Jeez. Steven Crowder. Well, you all know Steven Crowder. Theater kid, obviously. Loves to dress up in drag. I have no problem with that, but, unless, of course, you're using that in the way that he uses it, which is to attack the trans community. Not cool. But he was the voice of Brain in Arthur. Oh, Brain, how you fallen. So, look, knowing that, it's not a surprise to me that O'Keefe was basically using donor money as a piggy bank to kind of further his own goals outside of that organization, which is, again, the organization itself was already shady, had done all these weird, supposed sting operations, and where they really just, deceptively edit things to try to own libs, and doesn't really prove anything. In fact, it more often than not got them in legal trouble. But hey, it did really good on YouTube, and Rumble now. So, I guess it all worked out pretty well for them. Except for the extravagant spending by O'Keefe on the side gigs. Look, at the end of the day, I guess they can say that they own the libs, and now since they got rid of O'Keefe, maybe they can start actually trying to take it to
oligarchy.
but probably not.